Welcome to Journaling with Nature, the podcast for those who want to turn curiosity into wonder, a pencil sketch into a rabbit hole of discovery, a moment of stillness into a life full of joy. I'm your host, Bethan Burton. Let's open the pages of our nature journals and explore this world together. Hello, this is episode 131. Here's a secret. I'm recording this episode 4 weeks ahead of schedule. When you hear this, I'll actually be in Europe with my family and meeting up with some amazing nature journaling friends in person. I am so excited. It's incredible to me how close you can become with someone without having met them in person through using technology. And I have so many really wonderful nature journaling friends who I count among my closest friends who I've never met before in person. So that is happening as you listen to this, and I am so thrilled. I plan to record some chats with them while we're on the road and share those with you a little later. But for now, I wanted to get some of these podcasts lined up in a row so that there wasn't a big break while I'm away. Today is a solo show and I wanted to talk about stories. And in particular, those stories that you don't expect or plan for. The stories that happen while you're out journaling something else and they catch you by surprise. Have you ever had the experience where you go outside with the intention of journaling something specific and then an animal comes along and does something weird or interesting or just something that catches your curiosity? Once I had taken a cutting of an interesting weed that I was sketching at my desk, and I was engrossed in the process, and then out of one of the flowers stepped this tiny beetle, maybe 3 millimeters long. It was striped in different colors and it had a really shiny carapace, and I immediately switched to journaling the beetle and capturing that moment on my page. And I had the weed flower specimen in a vase on my desk for about a week, and the whole time this tiny beetle was with me. It was living on and inside the flower. And this is the story that I captured in my journal, and following that story gave me more information about the flower, which was the beetle's habitat. And so I ended up knowing more about the flower because of this interaction with the beetle. Another time I had a big bushy perennial basil plant in my garden, and it was flowering prolifically and being visited by so many bees. And I loved this plant, and I went out to nature journal the flowers one day. I picked off a flower and I started to study it, and then inside I saw an amazing spider, and it was all white and it had this really big abdomen, and it turned out to be a white crab spider. Well, then I forgot the flower and my entire page became devoted to the spider. I ended up using toned paper so that I could highlight its white body, and I got out a magnifying glass and I was looking closely at it, and I saw the most amazing and weird thing. On the big abdomen of this white crab spider was another spider, much smaller and almost completely flat against the body. And I assumed that it was the spider's baby. It was brown, and I drew it in my journal, the big spider and the little spider too. And then after some research, I found out that it was actually the male. The male is very small and it's carried around on the larger female in that way. I found this to be a crazy and wonderful story that I might have missed had I not let my curiosity and the story that wanted to be told take me down a different path. This might happen to you when you go out to nature journal a landscape, for example. You could see some birds or other animals make their way into the story. And our prompt today is to follow those unfolding stories. Let yourself and your curiosity be taken by those stories. Watch them unfold with curiosity and see what happens next. You'll be led to discover things you wouldn't have even thought of. I hope you enjoy this process, and I would really love to hear what happens in the stories of your nearby nature. While we are on the road this month, I plan to post some new videos over on the Journaling with Nature YouTube channel as well, so hop over there if you'd like to follow along. Thank you so much for listening. See you next week.